Hi there, thanks for checking out our channel. This is going to be a how-to video on how to fix or test and fix this Speedrite Panther 5800. They've had a couple other names to this, had a SM5800 and an SM580 or just a 580, but they're all of that model are all the same on the inside. This is a 120 volt model. But we're going to get in this thing and kind of tear into it, and we're going to go step by step of how to test and fix this thing. Different things happen to these. They sometimes don't come on at all. Sometimes they come on, but when they won't pulse. Sometimes they come on and pulse, but no output. So we're just going to go through and see what this one does. The note here says low voltage, so it must come on and pulse, but it just won't put out much power. So using an older Speedrite, they don't make them anymore. This is a 5.8 output joules, so it probably puts out stored joules probably 9 to 11 or not, probably 10 joules, somewhere in that range. So pretty good unit. These are the back when a lot of their circuit boards were old school electronics, so you can actually repair the parts on the board and stuff. They weren't all surface mount crap and little dinky parts that they use nowadays. So if you've got one of these units and you would like to help on repairing it, get a hold of us. We work on all brands of all ages of electric fence boxes. We work on the Gallagher, Speedrite, Paramac, Zariba, Blitzer, Cyclops. I mean, if it's a fence box, we'll work on it. So, but we're going to get in this thing and see what we can do for it. I already took them out of here. There's these little black plugs. One's on this side and one's over here. He's going to pop them out with a small flat screwdriver or something. And then you'll need a flat screwdriver. This go up here is there's 3 clips on it, one on the top and 2 on the bottom. Just get a flat screwdriver and go between this case and this case right down in here. And just push this, just kind of twist your handle to push it towards that edge there, and do it over here too. Once you get it slid a little bit, that part will separate. I'll flip it upside down and do the same thing to here and here. So go in here and just kind of put the screwdriver in there and turn the handle and do the same thing over here. Once you get slid a little bit, maybe just a little bit more. There. The back cover comes right off. So that's the inside of it. That's the 5800. There's your main power board. You got 2 capacitors, output transformer, and an output board that protect this board. All it does is protects it from the lightning. On the fence and ground side, also has a voltage divider for your half power. So we're going to go ahead and plug this in and see what it does. I'll turn it over like this real quick. That's your power light. Power light's coming on. And that light's flashing, and it's clicking, so that's a good sign. Put the fence tester across ground and full power, and we'll see what it puts out. It's like we're getting about 1,000 volts out of it. So that's a lot less than what it should be. So our problem is probably this or this. But we're going to check these capacitors real quick just to see. Looks like they are 20 microfarads. So all together with them tied in parallel like that should read 40. The test capacitors, you need a multimeter with that yellow symbol right there. It may be a different color on yours, but it should be that yellow symbol right there. That's for testing capacitors. Also, your meter might show an NF or a UF on the screen. But you can test them individually or you can test them together. They're wired together so they'll add up. So this should be 40. There's no polarity to the capacitor. We're in 35.9. So that means it's just, 4 below 40. So that's pretty darn close. So the capacitors are fine. The board's clicking and pulsing, so the board's fine. So what we're going to do now is we're going to unplug the output leads of the transformer, which is this wire and this wire, and we're going to go across here with the electric fence tester, and we're going to see if the voltage spikes up nice and high, then this board's our problem. If the voltage stays a little lower, it doesn't go up much higher than what it did before, then the transformer's a problem. Turn it on. All right, so our issue is the transformer. So the good and the bad of this is, the bad news is Speedrite and tru-test and those guys don't make a transformer for this anymore. So if you're taking it to anybody else, they say, well, sorry, sir, you got to buy a new unit because they don't make the part for it anymore. And that's true. But luckily, we've got transformers that will sit right in place of this one. Have to do a little rewiring to it, but it fits right in here just fine and it works perfectly fine. So this unit won't be a throwaway unit. So we're going to pull this board out first to get it out of the way. I grabbed the board down here because this board is plugged into about 4 or 5 tabs down below, and it's kind of a pain. So you want to take a pair of needle nose, squeeze real hard, and push the needle nose against this red thing as a kind of a pry point to lift that board up, and it'll pull out of there. You get these 5 tabs here that plug on the 5 tabs down there, and that's why you got to pry it up off there. So just get the board out of the way, and to be on the safe side, we'll discharge the capacitors. They've probably got a little bit of charge plug, stored up in them because they have powered up and clicked and pulsed and all that stuff. So take a screwdriver if you want, or take a pair of needle nose and just go across the 2 tabs. I'm going to use a big, this is a 10 watt, about 100 ohm resistor. And what that resistor does, instead of being a direct short, it kind of slowly discharges them. They're tied together, so that should discharge both, but we'll just touch them both the same, just to make sure. All right, so now we need to get this transformer out and get some of this wiring undone. So it looks like reds are together over here and the brown one's all by itself. So that makes it easy to know where what's going to be tied together when we put the new transformer in. So we're just going to unplug these wires. We're not going to be reusing any of this transformer. We're going to reuse these holes that these bolts come through on, but we're not going to use the bolts itself because the bolts themselves are tied into this transformer. So now you bend these little tab things out of the way so you get some room in there. You can take a small pair of pliers if you want or whatever. And there's 2 nuts on each one. Once you get it loosened up somewhat, you can just take them all the way off. Then you can save them, use them for something else. And the transformer that we're going to use it's a custom made transformer for another model, another brand that has some discontinued parts in it. And luckily that transfer fits down inside here just fine. So we're going to pull all this out of here. So there's 2 nuts there. We're going to take this nut loose here. Get that little tab out of the way. All right, the transformer is going to slide away. Okay, we got to pull this board out because it's getting in the way. Gonna kind of pull it out the same way you did the main power board. Then you pull it. But this is the part that's gone bad. They don't make this part anymore, and luckily the transformer I'm gonna put in there basically looks similar. It's just basically this inner core right here is what we're going to make. So I'm gonna get the transformer ready to go, and then we'll go back to the rewiring part of it. Actually, what I'm going to do before we get too far along with this, I'm going to stop this. This would be like a two-part video. So if you want to continue on watching how to repair this unit, I should put a link down below for part 2. But hopefully this benefits somebody out there. And if you're looking for a part for this, a transformer, capacitor, something like that, just get a hold of us. We have all the parts on hand for one of these, except for the output board. Output boards are no longer made unless you can rebuild them. But those, if this board ever gets hit or goes bad, just get rid of it. Take the transformer, hot wire it straight to your hot and ground. You'll lose your half power, you have your hot and ground. Then that's fine. Main boards, the power boards that were over here, those are no longer made either, but those boards can be fixed and rebuilt. So we can do that for you. But most people just ship these things to us, let us work on them for them. And capacitors, I'm having trouble finding 20 microfarad versions of these. I can find 30s all day long, or we've got one big 40 that will lay right inside here, take the place of those two. So again, this will be the end of part 1, and then part 2 will start up just before too long.